Andy here. Today I'm at Fort Hill in Frankfort and we're going to take a little tour of it. So won't you join me? Come on, it'll be fun. This is a really old historical place in Frankfort. There's a lot of history to it I believe it's about war. It was during a time of civil war maybe. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research. I'm sorry I haven't done research on it. But I do know it has a lot of history. And if you look behind me, this right here that I just come up on, it has a lot of there's a lot of trails and takes you different places. And that's where I want to take you all today. But I found out this behind me, this little wooded fence, is actually a cemetery. It has a lot of history. I found that out by this little plaque here. So anyway, I just thought I would come up here today. It's a little cooler than I thought, but I love outside and I love anything that has a lot of history, and I love stuff that has a lot of scenery, and Fort Hill has some beautiful sceneries. It has a lot of history. So let's just take a little tour and see what we find today. And let's take a look at this little sign right here talking about this right here. Alright? So let's take a little look. Beneath the soil in front of you lie the skeletal remains of about 250 people. They were buried originally in a cemetery below the south face of Fort Hill near downtown Frankfort. This was one of Frankfort's earliest cemeteries. It was used from around 1800 until about the 1860s. After the opening of the Frankfort Cemetery on East Main in Frankfort in 1845, most people who died in Frankfort were buried there instead of in the old burial ground. In fact, many remains were moved from the old cemetery to the new one. Over time, the old graves left behind were forgotten. Buildings were even erected over some of them. The old graveyard was rediscovered during evacuations prior to the construction of the new Kentucky Transportation Cabinet building in 2002. Archaeologists then carefully removed the bones and scientifically studied the burial and constructed by the University of Kentucky. Once this study was completed, the remains were re-entered here, right where you see this ground. The identities of the burial people were not known. Many of them are African Americans. A few may have been inmates of the Kentucky Penitentiary, which in the early 1800s stood near the old cemetery. Okay, and I want to show you something here. If you look, these two faces you see here and here, sorry I put my finger on his nose, it says these clay facial reconstructions of two people buried here based on skeletal remains discovered during the 2002 evacuation. So actually these two people we see are now reburied up here. So I just think that's so fascinating. You know, history, I love history anyway, but then to find out right here. So now, as you look around, as we get ready to go down through here to some tours, and we'll just see what all we have, and I'll show you some of the wonderful scenery we have up here at Fort Hill. So why don't you go with me? We're going to start out, and when I find something fascinating, I'll show you. So let's go. Just want to tell you also that if you decide to come up here, it's been a long time since I've been here, but when the last time I was here, it didn't have these nice paved roads, as you can see now that I'm walking on. So it's got plenty of trails you can go on up here, but there's also this nice paved roads, so you ain't got to worry about walking in mud or getting stuck in some grassy areas or anything like that. But so let's just go on, and I'll keep walking and see where we find out and see what we come up with, okay? So I come around this tour, I found this little red building. It's called a bird blind, whatever that is. But I also found this kind of interesting right here. I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if there was a tree here or kind of what that is, but that's kind of different looking, isn't it? Yes. So, going to go on for a little bit further to see if I find anything else. See you in a little bit. As I was saying, we had these paved roads, but I'm on this trail. I forgot what it's called. It's the Going Trail. But as you see, the road stops and it does turn it back into grass a little bit. So just kind of be careful if it's muddy. You don't want to get stuck in some mud. But I see a wonderful, wonderful view right here at the top of this. As you look over, that down there is Wilkinson Boulevard. As you can see, the cars are going by. There is Jim Seafood. So Fort Hill sits on top of a big hill in Frankfort. So behind me is a house that's been reconstructed, and it's a visit center now that's open from Tuesday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and they also give you free tours. No money at all, just free tours. So I just wanted to show you that beautiful historical place. That's another beautiful place here at Fort Hill. So now we're getting ready to go down this way. It's a lot of great scenery down here and a lot of sightseeing. So let's get started. Let's go and see what we find. Now I'm on this little thing, bridge-like thing, and we're going up to this interesting looking little piece right here. It's kind of neat looking. There. Very neat. Like I said, there's a lot of neat stuff here at Fort Hill, and now I'm getting ready to go down over here where I see some little structures, and we'll see them. Now we're getting ready to go over here and look at these little, they almost look like little log cabins, but it was something that I guess they used back when Fort Hill was a battleground, and so let's go over here and take a little look at it. As you can see, there's some wood, and it looks like they're doing some reconstruction on some of these little places. Kind of reminds me, another thing I like about up here at Fort Hill is I love Little House on the Prairie, and being up here just kind of brings that setting to me with, you know, like back in the day with the look at that little log cabin and these little huts, almost like a little home. Let's go over and check this one out and see what it's like. This is a little itty bitty log cabin. Let's see what it looks like. Some wood up there, and that's inside of there. Pretty wild, huh? Now, but another thing I like about history is it's just like when you look around at things like this, it's just like if it could talk, if it had the history, you know, what was going on and all that time, it's just like it was alive, and now it's just laying dormant, kind of this calm and quiet and of what once was. And let's take a little look at this little one here. This is kind of interesting too. And we'll have to do, when I get home, I'm going to do some research maybe on Fort Hill. I know it was a battleground and so forth, but like these little places here, like kind of get down inside, and it's like a little woodwork area or something like that. It's kind of neat, you know, hide down like this. So, anyway, this is kind of a neat little place, kind of squatty-watty. Then we have that. And let's take a look at this one up here. Now this one, they look like they're doing some reconstruction on. They're still pretty neat. Wow. Let's take a little look here. This is pretty neat. It smells like fresh wood. It's kind of like a little house and a little teepee. Well, no, teepees are little cloths, I guess, but it's kind of neat, you know. I love it. You can just come up here and see little places like this. It's kind of like a little house. It's got you got a little. This one's been reconstructed. It has a new roof on it, as you can tell. But it's got a little table here. Really kind of neat and cute. I like it. So let's step out of this one. Pretty neat. So now this one over here has not been done too much. It's still kind of open, and that one's fallen down. But I love this little place. Let's see. This one, kind of neat. And then over here we have another little place, so let's go check it out.